On July 2, 2006, Paul Janssen almost died.
I don't remember the instance of that night, but I woke up 6.5 weeks later, having come out of a coma.
Paul was driving home from a wedding and crashed into a wooded area. He stumbled out of the car and landed face down in a ditch filled with water. A policeman found Paul and took him to the hospital. He lay in a coma near death until he woke up 6.5 weeks later.
And having heard the stories of how I had almost died, and laying there in that hospital bed and just thinking about everything that I had done up until that car accident, and thinking to myself, I didn't deserve to make it through this. I deserved to die.
Paul's conscience was in conflict with the life he had been living before his accident.
Well, when I started going to college, I found myself doing a lot of things that I thought that I would never do and said that I would never do. I would meet these girls and I'd just start sleeping with them, and deep down inside, like, I knew it was wrong, but I thought to myself, well, how am I ever gonna meet my future wife?
Paul met a girl and they married. 2 years later, the marriage began falling apart.
One day, I came home from work and there was a note on the table that said she had gone to go live with her mother. And I just remember feeling so scared and so angry at the same time, and I started just crying out to God. I just asked God, please bring her back to me. And after a couple months went by and God didn't bring her back, I just started, that desperation turned into anger, and I just started hating God. And I started going out to bars. I started treating women like objects again, and I would tell them my sob stories and get them to sympathize with me, and then I would use that to gain whatever I wanted.
Paul grew up knowing about God, but he never felt God could really help him, until a friend asked Paul a simple question.
She asked if she could pray with me because she knew that I was hurting. And she prayed for me, and then she asked me to pray, and it was the first time that I really prayed out to God in almost a year. And I said, God, you gotta help me, you've gotta change my life.
A week after he prayed that prayer, he was in the car accident that left him in a coma.
The doctors had told my family during the time that I was in a coma that I wasn't going to survive. They asked my parents if I was an organ donor. They asked them if I wanted to be kept on life support. And my parents just said, you know what, we're gonna pray. We're just gonna keep praying for Paul.
Prayer worked. 6.5 weeks later, Paul woke up from the coma. Medical miracles began taking place in his body, amazing Paul's doctors and changing Paul's perspective on God's love for him.
For the first time, I felt like I knew God's love. I mean, you hear people talk about God's love all the time, but for the first time in my entire life, I felt like He moved mountains and that He moved universes to save my life, me, a person who knew God when he was little, but chose to walk away. And when I left that recovery hospital, I left a new person. That old Paul that was living that life had died in that car accident, and now I was new. And from that moment, he just started restoring everything. He gave me a great girl that I married. God showed me, initially, all this time I was looking for love, but God showed me that He is love. That with Him and only Him can you receive full love.